what's going on, guys? We are recording after the original date of production. Because we fucked up. Well, not really.
No, we didn't. I mean,
well,
we
not
didn't.
really.
We didn't.
Or not Cyberpunk. CD Projekt Red fucked up.
They lied.
They lied. The liars. Yeah. After even putting it on, they tweeted out. Somebody was like, "Hey, so I'm taking off this day for Cyberpunk.
I'm taking off November 19th for Cyberpunk.
This is the official date, right?" And they're
And
like,
said,
"Yeah,
yes.
go for it.
No
and
more
then,
delays."
And then literally the next day, it was like, "Hey."
And for us, we recorded this episode. I think it was like maybe a week or two before the initial date.
Yeah. So they so they came back and they had to change the date to officially right now. The official date is December 10th.
Yeah.
Right now. But there are rumors that the game may even be delayed to 2021 past this.
Possibly.
December. Possibly. There's
So
rumors.
Again, so in this episode, you're gonna hear us say November a lot.
Yeah.
Right now, think December. But if possible, think 2021.
And I think if it's gonna be 2021 though, it might be. It may. And the rumors are just right now 2021. More than likely, hopefully, it'll just be maybe like a February or a March.
No, see, when they said December 10th, 2020.
Yeah. So
2021.
Yeah.
It's like in the Batman trailer where it was like 2 question mark, right? Or was it? Yeah, it was like that. That's what they said. December 10th, 22 question mark.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I know it. Well, okay, it especially sucks because people were like putting in work, days off of work for this.
People were putting, for me, I was planning my Thanksgiving break. I was just going to
all
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a high school teacher, so I get the whole week off for Thanksgiving. I'm like, bro, I picked the game up on Monday. I'm going to play Cyberpunk up until Sunday the next week.
Yeah, and then one of our other friends also did the same thing. He was taking basically that Thursday and the whole weekend off. So it does suck, but I also think people are kind of blowing the whole lie thing out of proportion. I think there was a miscommunication between
their PR team.
Yeah, I think there was a miscommunication.
So what I've read was that the
developers did not know.
They didn't know. It was the 2 guys in charge made the decision last minute to delay.
Yeah. The developers still thought when that tweet was sent out, November 19th is the official day. They found out at the same time as we did. Yeah. Because an internal email went out.
What's even crazy is that it went gold literally that week, right?
Yeah.
And it's so what does it mean to go gold now that you're delaying a game and you may delay it again? You don't know. It may be delayed again until 2021.
I mean, but this is not the first time this has happened. I mean,
a game has gone gold and been delayed.
Yeah, there have been other.
There have been games. I know there have been games that have gone gold, but then been canceled. They finished, they started making the discs, and then they're cancel the game.
I mean, I think people are getting.
Could you imagine if Cyberpunk got canceled?
Please don't. Please don't talk about such things.
Yeah.
Again. I think people are just blowing this a whole lot out of proportion. The game is going to come out at some point because CDPR has way too much writing on this game to just cancel it, outright, obviously. If they want to shelve it for a few more months or whatever,
it's too long.
It's, again, it always comes back to that thing of a bad game is bad forever. A delayed game can be good someday, Yeah,
but eventually, Drew, you gotta release the game.
No. I completely agree. I'm just as antsy for this game to come out as anybody else. I was also planning on just that whole week or the whole weekend, just Cyberpunk. Let's fucking go. But I mean, shit happens. The developers have been working, the actual teams, the development teams have been working so fucking hard on this game. They've put every ounce of their soul, I'm sure, into this game, like over the course of years and years and years of crunch and work and all this kind of stuff. They want to be done with it. Mm-hmm. We want to be done with it. Like, nobody is happy in this situation. I think people are just like, oh yeah, CDPR is like happy that, you know, it's getting delayed or whatever. They just want to build up like the hype or whatever. Like, no, they want the fucking game to come out. They have way too much writing on this game for it to, you know, be a failure.
Yeah.
And that's why they're delaying. They've delayed it so many times, is they want it to be the experience that we have all built up in our heads.
Yeah. My biggest fear is that it still comes out and it's still a glitchy mess and people don't like it.
There inevitably, like, you can't squash every bug.
Yeah, I know,
right?
I know, but like, I'm just saying
there will still be bugs. I'm just like,
so I think the reason why they're delaying it, they said, is because of current gen issues, right?
Yeah, they were saying. I think they said. I think they said it was something to do with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but then I think they re-clarified or something like that, and it was like, no, it was actually the PS4 and the Xbox One versions causing the issue, because they probably just cannot handle the game at the, like, I'm sure CDPR has been building this game for the intention of it being played on PC and then Xbox Series X and PS5.
Yeah.
Which just can run the game just a lot better than the PS4 and the Xbox One can.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the
that's so weird to me, because you think if you've been working on a game, you announced in 2013, right?
So the first trailer was that was basically them announcing that they're working on it. You announced
that you're working on this game at the beginning of that generation.
Yeah,
the game's supposed to come out at the end of this generation, and you're having issues with that current generation. So for me, it's weird. It's like, why would you have issues with the generation you're essentially been building for the whole time?
Well, I think it's kind of like the similar story of Breath of the Wild. You know, like, I think it's like, because originally it was supposed to just be a Wii U exclusive, right? But then it just took so long. Development cycle just took way too long, that before we knew it, the Switch was upon us, and they were like, okay, we gotta make some changes to format it for the Switch. Yeah, you know. So I think
it did have a shorter cycle though compared to other game consoles. I think though.
Which one?
The Wii U.
The Wii U.
Oh, it wasn't like 2012, 2017, 5 years. That's nothing.
I mean, it's not short, but it's also like, when you think about now that, like, so most games probably get released 2.5 years from conception. Good games probably get. I'm just kidding, not good games, but like it does take time, right? Mm-hmm. Like we always just assume, like, we see AAA studios putting out games in like 2 years and stuff like that, and I mean, CD Projekt Red is not a small studio, but their biggest thing is The Witcher 3. Like, that's what they're most well known for, right? Besides that, they really do not have much. Yeah. You know, and then now they're working on this huge, overhyped, just monster of a game. You know, I mean, I'm not surprised that it's taken this long for them. Like, I'm not. It's just they've put so much of themselves in this game.
I think one thing we didn't talk about, and I kind of want to touch about it right now, how big of a file, how much space do you think this game's gonna take? It's gotta be pushing 100, right?
It's definitely pushing 100. I'm gonna say. Well, actually, I think didn't they release it? Cyberpunk.
Well, it's not going to matter because there's going to be a huge day one patch.
There's going to be a day one patch. Cyberpunk storage requirement. 70 gigs of storage.
That's this initial disc.
This is initial, yeah.
Okay. And then day one patch, what would you guess?
Maybe 10, 15 gigs.
I would say 20 to 30 maybe.
Maybe not that high.
Because if you think about it, all the stuff they're working on now, post the delay,
Wow.
is all stuff for a day one patch, right? Because the game's gone gold, so they're pressing discs with data in it.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know. I think at the end, this game will probably be 100 gigabytes.
I think by the end of the game, DLC, all that kind of good stuff, it'll definitely be over 100.
It'll be well over 100 by
It'll
then.
definitely be well over 100 by that point.
That's so big.
But yeah,
I imagine it when you
playing it on a PS4 where you have a 500 gigabyte storage hard drive like base.
Or imagine
that's
for example, you get your PS5 and it only has 660 gigabytes of usable space.
Yeah,
and then you have a 4K upscaled version.
Time to buy a fucking terabyte. Yeah,
upscaled version of
time to buy a fucking
Cyberpunk.
terabyte hard drive.
That's gonna be huge.
Yep.
All right. Well,
time to uninstall some programs, baby.
Literally install every game you have.
Yeah. I would do it for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, we just wanted to kind of add this in.
Yeah.
Because of some timing. All right, guys.
All right.
Enjoy.
Peace.
In 2077, what makes someone a criminal? Getting caught. In Night City, you can become anyone, anything, if your body can pay the price. So seize the day, then set it on fire. Cyberpunk 2077.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Game Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Drew, and as always, I've got my co-host, Sergio, over here with me.
What's up? What's up? What is up?
Oh, man.
Hey, you're breathtaking.
No, you're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
If you could have guessed by that little exchange right there, we're talking about the one, the only...
Cyberpunk.
It's finally coming out. It's almost here.
We could have had it. When was this supposed to come out?
It's supposed to come out in April.
In April
originally, and then it got pushed to September, and it got pushed to November. So
yep.
But it's finally almost here. The wait is almost over. It's been 7 years in the making. The first reveal trailer was 2013. It was the short trailer of the girl with the mantis arms, and it was like it wasn't even like a really like. It wasn't like full motion. It was just kind of like it was like a static image, but like parts of it were like moving and stuff like that. You know?
And that was that before?
It was before The
Witcher
Witcher 3 came out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been awaiting this game for a long time, and yeah, I'm so stoked. I'm so excited.
Did you play any of the tabletop?
I haven't played any of the tabletop. I've wanted to get into it. I've watched videos of like people playing it, right? Like running through the system and stuff. And I actually watched one with the creator, like Mike Pondsmith. He was GMing.
He seems pretty cool. Like
He's an awesome guy. He seems like a really cool guy to like get a beer with, you know, and just like shoot the shit, you know. Yeah, like, but I hope one of these days to get like a game maybe going.
Yeah.
And actually play the tabletop.
So is it work like D&D where there's no, or does it work more like Warhammer where you like build a character, it's little figurines and stuff like that?
It's like it's more like D&D. It's a tabletop role playing game. So yeah, you build a character, you are in a group together with other people who have built their characters, and then you guys go on an adventure together where you kill things, get loot, do quests, and you know, level up, and just do awesome shit together, basically. And yeah, so the Cyberpunk setting is a little bit different, like obviously from like D&D and you know those kind of like high fantasy settings where. You know, obviously it's like in a sort of futuristic, like I don't say like dystopian, futuristic. Yeah. Like there are parts of the parts of the world that like you know there's corpos and stuff like that, and there's like mega cities that try and like exude this, you know, this facade of like success and all this kind of stuff. But you know, there's also like a lot of parts of the world where it's just dingy and run down and like people are struggling to survive and you know And Night City is one of those like mega cities. That's the place that's the location of the game, Cyberpunk 2077.
The setting of the game.
Yeah, that we're gonna be exploring and going over. So I guess yeah. Let's just talk. I'm just gonna kind of gush about this game a little bit, like for the rest of this podcast, probably
for the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, next 30 to 40 minutes, it's just gonna be me like just.
Yeah.
You know,
I think also one of our like intentions for this episode was that we want to get it out before the game comes out.
Yeah.
So sort of talk about our expectations and our hopes, and then play it for like a month or two, and then have like not a review necessarily, but more like a reflection episode.
Reflection.
We reflect
Was
back.
it worth it?
Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, you've played like The Witcher 3.
Yeah, I played Witcher 3. I tried to play a little bit of Witcher 2. Actually, I started Witcher 3, got super into it. Tried to go back and play Witcher 2 a little bit, and obviously they're two completely. I mean, like they're in the same setting, they're in the same world, they got similar characters or the same characters, I should say. Sorry. But the gameplay itself is just it's night and day. Yeah, exactly. Like Witcher 3, and there's nothing wrong with Witcher 2. Like people love Witcher 2, and that's fine. But I went into it expecting more of Witcher 3, and I didn't really get that. So I was like, I'll just go back to Witcher 3. And I still felt like I was getting I didn't really feel like I was missing out on anything by just doing Witcher 3.
So is it kind of like starting with Assassin's Creed 2 and then jumping to Assassin's Creed 1?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of that effect of
they kind of refined it and made it better.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like, well, it's
imagine if we went back to Witcher 1.
Witcher 2 is more of a linear game a little bit, and Witcher 3 is just obviously this huge open world game. Like you just get lost in it. What really grabbed me was the writing, though. That's the big thing for me. Like writing and quest design and stuff like that, and how characters interact. That is like the main. That's the main factor for me of whether like this is going to is this an S tier game for me, or like where does this fall? Kind of.
So I've actually never played The Witcher 3.
Really? Oh man, you are doing yourself a disservice.
So when I went to buy my Xbox, I went to go buy an Xbox One. It was probably around 2015-ish time, 2016 maybe. That was 2015. I saved up. I was a waiter, and I saved up all my tips for like a couple weeks. And I was like, all right, cool. I got $500. I'm gonna go buy my. Well, I had like $550. Yeah. I'm gonna go buy my Xbox One. I'm gonna buy Xbox One. I'm gonna buy Xbox Live. Yeah. So that was gonna be like 560, 550, whatever. I get there. I get the Xbox. I get the Xbox Live. And they're like, well, actually, do you want to get like The Witcher 3? It's like you get like a sale because you're buying an Xbox. You get it for like $30.
And you passed.
And I was like, I don't know if I have enough because I had money for my for the Xbox Live and for the Xbox One. But I would have. I was like this close to like.
I would have passed on the Xbox Live and gotten Witcher 3.
I don't know because I didn't have Xbox Live at the time.
Yeah.
So I needed it to to play online games, or watch Netflix.
I mean, what online games were you playing though?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Halo came with the.
Oh, Guardians.
No, Halo Master Chief Collection.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, how'd that work out for
Master
you?
Chief Collection came with the Halo Guardians is terrible. So anyway, so then I was like, no, it's okay. I'll just I get my Xbox and Xbox Live. That's fine. And he scanned it, and Xbox Live was actually like for some reason it was only like $30. Yeah. So I had like an extra $30, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'll take that Witcher 3." And he goes, "Sorry, I already scanned. I can't add it down after." I was like,
"What?
Are you serious?
What kind of bullshit is that? Where was this, GameStop?"
No, it was Best Buy.
Oh, what? Fuck Best Buy.
I was like, "Are you
man.
serious?" He goes, "Yeah, like it's like you had to like scan it together or something." I was like,
"Oh, that's shit.
That doesn't make any sense. Like I just go grab the game."
Yeah.
He's like, "Sorry, man, you can't do that."
Sorry, man, no can do.
Yeah, so I was like, "Damn it."
That's
so
nice,
yeah.
man.
So then that was my story with like not getting Witcher.
Well,
but we recently bought it for the Switch when it came out on the Switch.
Oh, it doesn't look good on the Switch.
Really?
Though. Yeah, no. It's meant to be. Well, okay, so obviously it's meant to be played on a PC. Yeah. But playing it on a PS4 is how I played it. Maybe that worked out just fine.
Maybe I'll get it for because they're gonna release it.
It's probably
they're gonna do an Xbox or PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X enhanced version
right
for The Witcher 3. So I'll probably just get it then and then play it on the Xbox.
Yeah. You really need to, because...
so I haven't read any of the books, but I watched the show with Henry Cavill, and I loved the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
It's... I don't know. So I would put it up there in terms of, like, my all-time favorite RPGs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, Fallout New Vegas is one.
Yep.
And then, like, I think either number 2 or number 3 is Witcher 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So it would go up against like Skyrim.
Skyrim, I would actually put more like a 4.
Oh, okay. So what's your other 2 or 3?
I actually need to think more about this, but
put you on the spot, baby.
But you put me on the spot. Maybe Chrono Trigger in number 2. I don't know.
Okay. So basically, like, all your love for The Witcher 3,
is
what's
driving
the hype
basically.
For...
Well, I also I like the setting.
Yeah.
Like the setting.
That's where my hype
appeals
is
to
coming.
me.
I think the setting is pretty cool. I like how customizable they're giving you your chance to make your characters and stuff like that. So I love like dystopian future, and I think it's cool where it's like everyone has like cybernetic parts and stuff like that, and
there's a lot of really cool. Like I've done like a little bit of lore digging into Cyberpunk. Not like too much. Like I'm obviously not an expert. But there's a lot of really cool stuff. Like so the Cyberpunks, or not Cyberpunks. The they're called Cyberpunks, but like people with like cybernetic enhancements. If you start putting you've seen those. I think one of the gangs you've seen them. They're like almost completely cybernetic, right? Like once you start putting a lot of cybernetics into your system, you like eventually you just go mad. Like you lose all. It's a battle between your humanity and the tech, and eventually your humanity fades away and you're just all machine. You know? So there's a lot of really really cool stuff.
Yeah, can I remind you? Like, have you seen Alita: Battle Angel?
I have not actually.
I think it's an underrated movie. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm a fan. Alita #Alita 2.
Yeah.
Make a sequel.
Well, there's a manga for it too, though.
Yeah,
right?
and there's an anime movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the setting is super cool. Basically, I'm just kind of expecting like Witcher 3, but dystopian future now. Like I'm expecting that level of quality, especially after like. Well, okay, so the development probably mostly got off the ground. They probably started pre-production like when they released that trailer, right?
I would probably say maybe a little earlier, maybe like 2011 or 2012. Right?
But
you think they'd actually start the pre-production before they release like a concept trailer?
I guess that's true. Yeah, maybe not too, but like 7 years though, man. Like that's a long time for game development. Like by today's standards.
Yeah.
Like nobody takes 7 years.
Like from what I read online, they recently had an interview with some of like the developers, and they're talking about how The Witcher 3, its open world quest was like a warm up for Cyberpunk. Yeah. So I think it would make sense where like you have like part of your team working on The Witcher, finishing that up for release, in 2015. You have part of your team already starting up, the pre-production for Cyberpunk, and then that team that finished Witcher 3 comes in and then just fleshes, and it just keeps growing. And then and then like a couple years later, you had Keanu Reeves, and then
you have a Keanu Reeves, a whole Keanu Reeves, just perfectly wrapped to open on Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's kind of what happened, but they've been more. The game looks phenomenal. Like in these like little snippets. Like the Night City Wire gameplay, all of that stuff. It looks incredible. The first like 40-minute like demo they showed off to the public.
I watched that.
I watched that maybe like 5 times. Yeah.
Was that back in like 2018?
Yeah, that was back in like 2017. I want to say. Yeah. I watched that 5 times, 6 times, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I had it on repeat, dude. I was like, this game looks fucking phenomenal. Like just the details, just all the stuff. All of those NPCs just like walking around. So they have like snack stalls where you can just like walk up and buy something.
I want to say it was 2018 because I want to say it was 2018 because
probably,
so it was like 2013, the trailer.
Yeah.
And then like years of not talking about it. And then I think in 2018 is when they showed the first, they came back and they had it.
Yeah.
Here's some
Maybe,
footage and stuff like that. And then the following year, 2019, is when they had Keanu Reeves come on stage. Last year, he came on stage and he, announced the game.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk.
God, Keanu Reeves. What a God! He's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is like said to death pretty much at this point, but like, I mean, you see like all the stuff like where it's like people just like gushing about like, oh, Keanu Reeves just did this super nice thing. Like, there's like threads of all this shit that, like, all the nice shit that he's done, throughout his career and stuff like that. But yeah, like when he came on, I think. Well, I mean, we watched it together. Well,
right?
I don't know. Did we watch it in person together, or like we were? But I think we were watching it like at the same time.
I know for sure. It was like, or maybe he came over for it. I think he might have come over for it.
Maybe. I went crazy.
I know Emma was there because she lived with us at the time. It was me, Dusty, Emma.
Yeah.
I think maybe Adam.
I know I went crazy, dude. Like I was like, Keanu Reeves! Oh my god!
He's in the game.
He's in the game. Johnny Silverhand.
John Wick. John Wick.
Yeah, and then like, and he's like, and it's not just like a fun little cameo. Like he is an integral part of the story.
He's like in your head, right?
Yeah. So it's like his. Essentially, it's like a ghost, but it's like in a cybernetic implant in your head. Is Johnny Silverhand, who is a well-known figure in the Cyberpunk tabletop role-playing world.
Okay.
So, so he's actually like it's taking a character from the game that people who've played the game for years like know, and it's like bringing it to the screen with Keanu Reeves. Like,
I love it. I also love that there's like the image where it's like. We've come a long way, and it was like an image of like Keanu Reeves for like a Bill and Ted, like a Nintendo game or something, and then Keanu Reeves for like a Matrix game. Mm-hmm. I think it was like Into the Matrix when he's like on the original Xbox. Yeah, and it was like Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk. Yeah, like the evolution of Keanu Reeves in gaming.
Well, actually, I didn't know this. So, did you know that Keanu Reeves actually owns like a motorcycle company?
No.
Like a motorcycle
like
manufacturer,
yeah. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Co-owns it, but yeah. So and actually they did a bunch of the recording like of the motorcycle sounds at his plant, or not. Well, it's not a plant, but it's like a little, I guess, factory maybe or something like that. And then and also use some of the motorcycles for models in the game as well. So. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh my god, Keanu Reeves owns a motorcycle company? Like, that's cool.
So it looks like Drew has the biggest crush on Mr. Keanu.
I mean, God. Everybody has a huge crush on Keanu, right? Like, that's not special. Yeah. I'm not special. Everybody's got a crush on him.
So Keanu Reeves. What's your favorite Keanu Reeves movie?
I mean, it's either The Matrix or Bill and Ted. Although he was really good in...
John Wick's doesn't make the list?
I mean, John Wick's up there for sure. He was also he appeared like as a fictionalized version of himself in this movie on Netflix called Always Be My Maybe. Yeah. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like, he's so goddamn funny.
So I love the first Matrix movie. I don't care so much for the other two. Yeah. But John Wick, I think, like...
I haven't seen the third one.
You haven't seen the third one yet?
I haven't seen the third one yet.
Yeah, I know. Come over and watch one day.
Yeah.
Did you watch the new Bill and Ted?
I have not seen the new Bill and Ted.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's really sweet. That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm also like really excited about so CDPR said that even if you fail a mission, you will never see a game over screen. So like failing does not
kill you,
and like no restarts. Like so failing has to evolve the game world somehow, right? I'm really intrigued by this idea of maybe like an escort mission. Like you're supposed to be like escorting some person and you let them die, and you fail. And so you failed, but the game's like, oh well, that person died. I get how is that going to affect the the ecosystem? That's really exciting to me. Because that's I've never played a game that had that sort of that's a tabletop in state, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the level of complexity that you expect from tabletop role playing games, not video games where everything needs to be programmed a specific way, you know. And that's what's really exciting because it's more realistic. It's more immersive. Yeah. You know. So that's mostly what I'm just so excited. I'm just ready. I'm ready to fall into another game and just be immersed again. You know.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been. I think the last one was Witcher 3.
Gotta get out of 2020.
Yeah.
And gotta get to 2077.
I need something, man. I need a. I mean, not me personally, but I think we all need a win. You know. I think we all need something in 2020.
So let's talk about building your character, man.
Yeah, so I was going back and looking at the main stats you're gonna have are body intelligence, reflexes, technical ability, and cool, which are all pulled from the tabletop, obviously. These are like
how cool you are.
Like think like charisma, you know.
I get you.
Like you're it's like your street cred, you know. Like somebody's like. But it also affects, like, I think it's also going to affect, like, how cool under pressure you are as well. Okay. So I am going to be going for more of a, because I do this in every game. I go for more of a gunslinger style character, you know. So I'm going to be dumping most of my stat points into reflexes for the gunplay. And then I'm going to put cool and intelligence as my secondary because I do like my character to kind of be like a fast talker as well. So like, you know, he can talk himself out of a situation, you know, if he wants to. But yeah, reflexes is definitely going to be the main. And also for stealth as well. I think reflexes impacts like stealth because I do like getting those like sneak attack crits, you know, and stuff. And then intelligence I picked because I have a feeling if I'm, you know, usually intelligence. Kind of not dictates but influences how many skill points you can get, and so I'm gonna try and min-max a little bit and try and get as many skill points as possible.
Okay.
But I also don't like my character to be dumb. Like I know some people really like that and like seeing the options like when you're a super dumb character because like the Outer Worlds has that like where you and like the old Fallouts had that where like if you were super dumb you would have special dialogue options where it's like me have caveman brain, me no talk so good, you know, like so it is kind of interesting to see that, but I do like my character to have a little bit of intelligence. So yeah, and I'm going for my life path is going to be Nomad because it's kind of that you start on the fringes of Night City and you work your way there after a intro quest.
Yeah, you like the lone gunman kind of coming out of town. And
it's kind of like that Western vibe, and you also start with a car. I don't know if you're not gonna start with a car in the other life pass, but at least in the Nomad one, you are definitely starting with a car. And so I like that. Yeah. You know, starting with that early. You know.
I need to really get into like because I watched like some of these videos that kind of like the pre-videos that are explaining on the things. I haven't watched a lot of them, but I need to really get into them.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea how I'm building my character.
A lot of them are just basically like PR marketing for the game, essentially. And they're just talking about like, you know, like, oh, it's coming to Stadia, you know, the specs for the PC version, you know, all this kind of stuff. But they did reveal, like, there was one where they revealed, like, they did kind of like a brief overview of all the weapons. And then the last one they just did, they talked about the vehicles, which was cool. And so yeah, there's a few snippets in there that are important if you want to like learn more about like what's actually going to be in the game.
It's going to have a free upgrade on both consoles.
Yeah, so like if you buy it on PS4 or Xbox One, you get the Xbox Series X and the PS5 upgrade for free essentially. Which is nice. I mean, like CDPR, they do really try and be they're like the number one consumer friendly company. At least that comes to my mind, you know, like because they also run a online marketplace called Good Old Games. It's basically like a Steam, but it's a lot more consumer friendly than Steam. just in their practices, and they also recently adapted it so that you can actually download. They call it Good Old Games Galaxy, or GOG Galaxy is the acronym. But you can actually just link your Steam. You can basically link all of your other PC marketplaces to GOG Galaxy and just play them all from GOG Galaxy essentially.
Okay.
Which is nice. But yeah, and when The Witcher 3 came out, they gave like 16 pieces of DLC away for free. They were like small things. They were like quests and stuff like that, but still like it was free content, you know. And then that main DLC was actually pretty appropriately priced and was very expansive. So I mean, yeah, that doesn't shock me. And then of course they were also like, I think somebody asked them about microtransactions like a couple of years ago, and then like if they were gonna put microtransactions in Cyberpunk, and they were like, no, like, you know, it was,
what are they?
It was very blunt.
They know Norwegian?
Polish company, yeah. So that's why they had they had the relationship with the author of The Witcher, because, you know, obviously the author was Polish. And, so I have a lot of like faith in them as a company.
I'm excited. Like the reason I'm excited for the customization, really, like getting to build my character, like you know the way, you know, what kind of hands they have or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like turning your arms into like mantis blades, or like
a gun itself or something.
Yeah, like you have smart guns that like seek out your targets, or like bullets that ricochet off the walls and stuff.
When you play RPGs and you have the choice between doing a guy or a girl, do you like to be the girl?
No, I usually go for the guy just because I'm playing me. Obviously, like I'm
I
trying to emulate myself as much as possible.
It just depends on my mood, really. I'll just like, oh yeah, I'll be a girl or I'll be a guy. It doesn't matter.
I mean, like I've played a girl a couple of times, but it was like
with Odyssey, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you had the choice to be a male or female, and I chose female just because.
Well, I think also people said Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like Cassandra is way better than Alexios. Like she's just a much better character, which is good. Like, I mean, you know, good on Ubisoft for that. Yeah. But yeah, I usually just go for the guy just because I'm trying to play myself.
I get you.
But it is nice that in Cyberpunk you can basically make your character like whoever you want. Like there are no limitations on gender,
race.
You know, race. Yeah, like you
height,
have.
That's a big one.
Height. Yeah. What is it? Reproductive organ size. Like you can give yourself a massive dong
or a micro penis.
Or a micro penis if you want to play it that way. But yeah, like they've put. Yeah, I think they've really put a lot of effort into allowing anybody to play this game and like put themselves in the game, like more than any other RPG before this one, you know?
Yeah.
And I hope this becomes the norm, where it's like, you know, because every RPG you always start, you have that binary option, male or female.
Yeah.
You know, I hope more RPGs go from this, start taking the Cyberpunk approach to it. You know.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Because I mean, yeah, the world is changing. I mean, I think games need to change the same way.
Yeah. Progressive, Drew.
Yeah.
You're so progressive.
I know. Oh god. I do what I can, you know. But anyway, so I wanted to finish the episode. Now I have talked up CDPR a lot. I did want to talk about something that is a little bit concerning. It's gotten more into the public consciousness lately because of Cyberpunk, and that is the topic of crunch in the video game industry. Now, if you don't know what crunch is, it's essentially like periods of overtime where game development teams will have to come in on the weekends or nights in order to meet deadlines, essentially, you know, and like.
And again, this doesn't just affect gaming. Like this isn't every.
I mean, every job has overtime. Yeah, but
like film. You know, if you're coming in, like if you're working at an animated movie, you definitely hit a point where weekends and nights are out the window.
Yeah.
I have to animate this, or I have to work on this special effects, or we got to get this movie shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, the reason why, and this happens like this, it's not just a CDPR problem.
Yeah,
like, this isn't just a thing that's happening. This happens at other game development studios too. Like Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2, they had a problem where they had the months before release, they had to crunch really hard to get like a bunch of like really tiny details. Like I was reading something like, in order to add the black bars over the cinematics, you know, they had to like reframe the entire camera, and that took like weeks.
I know Last of Us 2 had a big, like, that's why it was delayed, because then they had to put a lot of crunch in.
Yeah.
To finish like little things, like not even big, like how a character breathes and stuff like that.
Right.
Which is not something that you necessarily pay attention to
but
when
it's
playing, but it's like a part of the immersion.
Right. It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
You know? So this isn't meant to be like just an attack at CDPR. Yeah. Like I said, I
think the problem, from what I understand, is that like a year or two ago they're like, there will be no crunch, and then like in January it was like, there might be a little crunch, but we're trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
So and then now they're like, we're crunching, baby. We're just having to crunch up.
So basically, yeah, the CEO of CD Projekt Red, Adam Kaczynski, I hope I pronounced that right. He basically made an unofficial promise, essentially, in an interview that was like, we're not gonna crunch.
Yeah.
And then in an investor's call in January, he said that some crunch would be inevitable. And now, in the final months before the game's release, like, reportedly the employees of CDPR have been crunching hardcore to get this game released for November 19th. So basically, it makes it seem like they went back on their word.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the issue. Like, I'm pretty sure if they just stayed silent, people would have just figured there'd be some crunch involved.
Yeah.
So I pulled up an article here, and I'm reading this from this this email that was from Adam Badowski. Is that how you say his name? The head of the studio.
Are you talking about the CD Projekt Red CEO? Kaczynski is Adam Kaczynski.
I have a Badowski, but I don't know. Okay, so it's like an email said that starting today, the entire studio is in overdrive. Your typical amount of work, and then one day of the weekend, and they're the reason why they're focusing on bugs and glitches. Yeah.
It's basically like damage control before, just squashing all the bugs. Yeah. But still, like,
and it's paid time. I think also a lot of the issue maybe with crunch comes from the fact that a lot of studios, like in the US or whatever, I think there's like salary. So if you work overtime, you don't get paid extra for it.
Right.
So I think that's where a lot of the problems with like crunches, and also like
I don't know exactly what the labor laws are like in Poland. So that might be there might be a difference in life experience there. Yeah.
And you would think, like, because they've delayed the game a bunch of times, and then, I mean, this year they've delayed it twice.
It's been delayed twice this year. It's been delayed. I mean, well, it's just been delayed twice in its whole thing, from April to September, and then
I guess from an official announcment.
Official announcement, yeah.
I'm sure there was like they had a set date in mind. And
but that's the thing is, apparently there's been periods of on and off crunch for like months or years. You know.
Really?
Huh. So you know, this isn't just one period of crunch. You know, this has been going on and on. You know, and they've been working on this game for at least 7 years. You know, like.
So they would like work on it, and then like maybe like 2 years in, like, all right, we gotta crunch it.
Well, like, so apparently the demo for E3 2018 maybe, or 2017. I think it was 2017.
I think it's 2018. I think it's 2018.
But they showed some. In order to get that demo out, they like had to crunch hardcore for like the last 2 months before.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
So
it's pretty crazy too. Like, I mean, have you seen like someone like took a screenshot from that demo from 2018?
Yeah.
And then like a similar situation or area
I have not.
For 2020, and put them side by side, it looks dramatically different.
Yeah.
Like, for the better. Like, 2018, it still looks like a good game.
Right.
But you could tell, like, oh, it's kind of...
Well, I mean, yeah, and
then 2020, it looks like, whoa, it's crazy.
They put a lot of hard work into it. And,
Yeah.
like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I kind of feel like as a consumer, it's kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because on the one hand, you don't want to kind of reward the bad behavior of the leadership, you know, but on the other hand, you also don't want, like, if you don't buy the game, that might come back negatively on the employees, like lower level development teams and stuff like that, who might depend on, like, the success of the game. You know, they might be getting royalties from it. They might get bonuses depending on how well it performs.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of there's kind of this moral tug, you know, like, of you know, do you support, like, who do you support, I guess, but at the end of the day, like I mean, I'm still gonna buy the game because, again, I still believe in CDPR. I want to support.
Yeah.
I want to support the employees. I want to support, like, their hard work over the last 7 years. I'm not. Unfortunately, in order to support them, though, I have to support the leadership by buying the game. But, you know, so that, again, it's like one of those really, like, tough moral quandaries, I guess.
It leaves you in a weird place.
Huh?
It leaves you in a weird place.
Yeah.
What I would love to do is I would love to, like, sit down with, like, a game developer and a game designer and just be like, so walk me through crunch. What is exactly, like, you know, like, is it even is it, like, inevitable? Can you avoid it at all?
Right.
Or is it just part of the gaming industry, like, or just part of, you know, entertainment industry, where, like, you're gonna reach a point where you have a deadline in place.
Yeah.
You can't delay anymore. You have to finish it. Like,
yeah. Like, what are the options?
Yeah. Like, you know.
I mean, like, again, like, this has been the one instance of crunch that has really gotten into, like, the public consciousness, because
I think it's because he made those comments.
Because he made those comments, and so now it's really drawn, like, the eye onto this whole issue, and now people are starting to kind of there's like an outcry for change and all this kind of stuff, and I mean, maybe there can't be change. I hope there can be change, because I mean, I know I don't like working overtime on anything, you know, and stuff like that. So I don't think anybody does, you know, like, so hopefully there's options. You know, I think the only thing that we can do, I think, is that we just be aware of it, and, you know, I think we need to hold the people accountable as best we can.
Yeah,
you know.
Starting with this podcast.
Yeah. CDPR, you are officially on watch from the Game Raiders.
You hear us, Rocksteady? We're watching you, baby.
Yeah, Rockstar.
Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Rocksteady are the guys that
no,
make Batman.
Rocksteady, you're okay. Keep working on whatever you're working on.
Yeah, they're working on the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, keep working on Suicide Squad. You're good. Rockstar and CDPR, you're on watch. No, I'm just kidding. No, again, I don't want to make this seem like an attack on CDPR, because, again, I have more faith in them than I did, like, Bethesda as of, like, a month ago, essentially, right?
Yeah. And also, too, like, CD Projekt Red over EA or Activision.
Yeah, absolutely, hands down. Like, and again, consumer friendly is all get out. You know, they will do everything they can to, you know, make sure that the consumer or the player has a good experience, whether that's through games or through the marketplace. So I still have faith in them. I think this is, and again, this is probably just a moment of. They're trying to get this game out. They've been working on it 7 years. You know,
it's time.
It is time for it to come out. It's not an excuse. They still need to be held to account and watched. Yeah. And we just need to be knowledgeable and just keep informed. Yeah. I think is the really big key.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure. So I think that pretty much wraps up our talk on Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Yes. I don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave it on a bad note, though.
How about this? Let's end it with what we hope we get from the game.
Yeah. I hope. I mean, like I said, I hope I get something like Witcher 3 quality, but just in this sort of setting now. I'm just looking to get immersed again.
Yeah. I would love. I know it's first person, but I would love a third person view.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in Grand Theft Auto, you have the option to switch between first person and third
Yeah.
person. I think that'd be cool.
It'd be cool. I want
to see my character.
I always,
you're customizing him so much, and then like
especially with the armor and clothes and stuff. Yeah, I feel that. I always go back and forth on like first person, third person. I like to stay in first person as much as possible. Because I like that, like, the extra immersion, from being in first person. And also with, like, shooters, it just makes sense to be, like, more in first person because it's, like, better for aiming, I feel like. But, yeah, I wish there was... I mean, I'm sure there'll be, like... areas of... There will be areas of the game where you could... Excuse me, sorry, I don't know what came over me there with that... but yeah, I'm sure there'll be areas where like you can check out your character like in a mirror or something like that, and just be like, ooh, look at me. But yeah, like overall,
third person.
Also,
Riot.
Also, we didn't even talk about this, but they do have plans for multiplayer down the line, like a co-op essentially. Yeah. That's gonna be really exciting.
It's interesting.
I think. So yeah, we'll be definitely revisiting Cyberpunk. I feel like
it comes out November 19th.
November 19th. It'll be a full price game. There. Yeah. So
I'll be picking it up. Wait, November 19th, November 20th. Comes out
November
Thursday?
19th.
On Thursday?
Yeah.
Huh.
November 19th.
I'll be getting it November 20th.
I know that because Destiny 2 Beyond Light comes out November 10th. So I have exactly 9 days to gorge myself on Destiny 2 and then play it.
Yeah. Well, so my hope is to get the Xbox on November 10th.
Yeah.
And then I guess maybe November 19th I'll pick up Cyberpunk and then I'll play it on the 20th.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so again, I teach high school, so that's like right before Thanksgiving break. So I get the whole break just to sit and play Cyberpunk, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. We'll catch you guys next time. All right.
Again, make sure to listen to us Apple Podcasts, leave a review, 5 stars,
like and subscribe.
We'll be on Stitcher soon. I'm trying to figure that out, and then maybe YouTube. Who knows?
Yeah, just send emails to Phil Spencer at Xbox and just let him know that Sergio's still thinking about him.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to that sponsorship money.
I would love to interview anybody in the gaming industry. Maybe we can figure something out. I just want to know about crunch and developing a game and stuff like that.
How the meat gets made.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, do you think Chris may know some people who would be willing to be allowed on podcast?
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We'll hear about maybe 2 or 3 months after we finish this, after this podcast comes out. Probably 2 months. Probably January time for everything. Should be enough time to sit down and really reflect on our thoughts on the game.
Yeah, and hopefully by then you guys can let us know what you guys think of the game too, if you guys are playing it.
Yeah, and remember, you're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.